Hey girl, Marissa here. You are listening to the Codependent Dummy podcast. As a young woman, you have been raised, reinforced, and rewarded for putting the needs of others above your own. Now, in your 20s, you're finding yourself exhausted, exasperated, and enveloped in shit relationships, especially the one you have with yourself. Codependency is a way of being where we put the feelings, wants, and needs of others above our own in an unconscious attempt to meet our own feelings, wants, and needs. Sorry to break it to you, sis, but that is not sustainable. This podcast is to help you undo all that so you can stop playing small and start taking up space, you dummy. Let's get to it. Hey girl, hey. It's Marissa, your hostess mostest, and I want to start with a very long question. What's a codependummy to do when she is tasked with the following in a 3-month period? All right, what's a codependummy to do? When she has 4 birthdays to celebrate in her immediate family, her husband's, her mom's, her older sisters, and her nephews. When she has 3 holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's, and all the parties, commitments that come with that. When she has 3 trips, one to see a best friend, one to a ski resort, that was a 1-bedroom condo with 6 adults and a baby staying there, and an Airbnb staycation with 6 adults and a baby. What's she to do when she has a 3-week visit with her twin sister and brother-in-law who only come 1 to 2 times a year? What's she to do when she has concerning lab results and intermittent health symptoms that consume her mentally? What's she to do when she gets coronavirus? Because yes, it got me. And what is she to do when she has crappy experiences with customer service and people not doing their job and their refusal to do their job while she maintains healthy boundaries but suffers some consequences? That is my question, my dear sweet listener. What is a codependent to do when she's tasked with all of that in a 2.5-month period? We will answer in this episode. So, welcome everyone, new and old. Like I said, I'm Marissa. I am a licensed psychotherapist, podcaster, and the host of the Codependent podcast. If you're new, you'll see how the episodes are varied with interviews with experts and professionals, interviews with listeners, if you want to come on, and also solo casts like this episode with me. And all the episodes are focused on aspects of codependency with the goal to help you stop playing small so you can start taking up space, you dummy. So it has been a minute. I'm already going to have some tea. So if anybody's drinking water or juice or soda or tea, let's go ahead and have some tea. My voice is not prepared. It's been a minute. The last time I sat down to write and record was on October 30th of 2022. From the introduction, you're aware that it has been a crazy, busy AF 2.5 months. Thankfully, we've had a lot of great guests on the podcast, so I hope you've enjoyed listening to all of them the past 2.5 months. And I will admit, in addition to the busyness, part of me truly dreads these solo casts. I know I mentioned it. I'm mentioning it again because I don't want this to be misconstrued as I hate the solo cast or because it's extra work and it's a burden. No. I've really come to see that part of me dreads these solo casts because they demand a vulnerability. They demand reflection. They require my acknowledgement of things I'm not proud of, parts of myself I'm afraid to share, characteristics I worry I will give off, like I'm stupid or self-centered, egoic, self-involved, boring. Part of me hates aspects of the solo casts. But then you guys all love the solo casts. I get so many emails and comments that I appreciate so much. So apparently I'm wrong, but that doesn't always combat the self-doubt, reluctance, and tendency I have where I do anything else, like work on a puzzle all day instead of sit down to write and record an episode. That still happens. I also know that this podcast is an outlet for my creativity, to provide psychoeducation, psychological education. And it really has been overall an impetus for my healing and growth. So, fuck it. I'm here. Here you are. Thank you for being here. We turn 2 at the end of the month. I think technically it's January 27th. So on the episode that airs January 30th, I will make an effort to do a reflection piece like I did last year on the pod. Yeah, so we're here. With that, checking on me, let's check in on you. Deep breath in and out. Another breath in and out. Third breath in and out. And last breath in and out. I'm curious, how the fuck are you feeling? And I say that with lots of care and tenderness, even though I'm cussing. I think I feel like cussing today. So, girl, how the fuck are you feeling? How the fuck were your holidays? Were they fucking amazing? Were they fucking terrible? Were they fucking okay? Are there any lessons, or a lesson, could be simple, that you gleaned from your time celebrating, being around family, and wrapping up 2022? What comes to mind for lessons learned? How the fuck is your body feeling? Does your body feel fucking good? Or does it feel fucking bad? Last question for the check-in. What's one thing, just one idea, one thing that you can do today to offer yourself tenderness? Tenderness was the theme of year 2. I'm not sure I accomplished that with the topics that we had, but we're working on it today, and I will be mindful of whatever I intuit for the theme for year 3. Maybe make that a more of a priority. So let's dive in. Check-in complete. What's a codependent dummy to do when life gets busy AF? She is supposed to slow the F down. How is she supposed to slow the F down, you ask? Slowing down really is a foreign concept to codependents. In the past, my codependency led me to being riddled with anxiety most of the time about disappointing or losing or being rejected or disappointing others. I've shared about this before, but I have distinct memories of waking up at 22. I had a ocean view when I was at UC Santa Barbara. I could hear the waves in the morning, beautiful sunrise. And I would wake up most often before my alarm. I would start to think about my day or my boyfriend or something I'd messed up on the day previously. And I was worried and freaking out about it. And my right foot would already be shaking just moments after I woke up. And that was a typical morning. That was a typical experience in the depths of my codependency. So what's a codependent dummy to do when added to her typical anxiety and routine? She gets busy AF. I have created a list of 10 things that we tend to do when life gets busy. As codependents, when life gets busy, number one, we are always available for others. Okay, we're there, we're reliable, we're in a helping role. That's what we tend to do when life gets busy. 2, we maintain fluid boundaries. Okay, and boundary sounds good, but fluid, not good. Fluid means like a substance, like a liquid or a gas that can flow, right? It has no fixed shape and offers little resistance to an external stress. So when we get busy, we have fluid boundaries. 3, we rarely ask others for help and support. 4, we cancel or miss our appointments for our self-care, for our self-betterment, self-improvement, self-help, right? Like therapy. 5, we minimize our concerns to avoid burdening others. 6, we only have 2 options. It's either yes or no, we're in or we're out, we're staying or we're leaving. And there's no middle ground or gray area. And we often say yes, we often are in, and we often stay. 7, when life gets busy, we codependummies are reactive to the needs of others. And we lack anticipation and forethought for ourselves. We're just always reacting to what other people need and not necessarily considering ourselves in that dynamic. Number 8, we are enmeshed in the needs of others, and we tend to just take it and deal with it and navigate the enmeshment, as opposed to, I'll talk about this more, but like kind of like separating the needs of others and our own. 9, when we are busy AF, we tend to isolate, as in we miss calls from our friends. Maybe we don't text people back as often. Maybe we don't make plans with others because we're so busy tending to all these, the needs of the time, the needs of this busy season. And 10, we lack routine. Our routine is others' routine. Okay, so those are the 10 things that codependents tend to do when in busy seasons, according to me. So what does this lead to, right? If we tend to engage with ourselves and others during busy seasons with these 10 things, 10 characteristics, it's not pretty. It's not pretty. I reflected on previous busy seasons, and I know that I have come out of them feeling like crap, feeling disconnected from others and myself, and feeling worse off mentally, emotionally, physically, relationally, spiritually, etc., worse off than I felt before entering the season. I have been there. I'm guessing because you're listening to this that you have been there. And I am certain that if I had maintained these patterns the past 2.5 months with the birthdays, the holidays, COVID, trips, medical stuff, bureaucracy, etc., I would be in a much darker, depressed, and debilitated state right now, because it just ended. I literally got back on Friday from the last shebang of this busy season, and this past weekend has been just regrounding and recentering time. No more trips, no more birthdays, no more holidays till Easter. I also got a UTI on Friday, which was not fun. That was the culmination of this season, a UTI. All right. But it's over. And overall, I'm not in a darker, I arguably am in a lighter state. I'm not depressed. I'm content overall. Some concerns. Life is not perfect. And empowered. Overall empowered right now, thanks to doing the opposite. So in contrast, I propose that a codependummy in recovery or a codependent diamond, as we have talked about, in order to avoid losing herself during these busy seasons in life that we do tend to face, we ought to try the following. And this is in no particular order, but it's just 10 ideas to navigate life when things are busy AF. Number 1, we have to create solitude, right? Time alone. 2, we have to maintain healthy boundaries. 3, we need to reach out to others for support, meaning we need to make plans with friends, attend support groups, stay in touch with mentors, etc. 4, we need to keep our appointments, our therapy appointments, maybe massage appointments, physical therapy, doctor's appointments, all those appointments we have with helping professionals that help us. 5, we need to get help from medical professionals. 6, we need to provide ourselves with options in the middle and gray area, right? Find something in between the yes and the no, the in or the out, the staying or the going. 7, we need to mentally create a before, during, and after care plan for events, interactions, could be for the season in general, but just really trying to create a BDA, a before, during, and after care plan. 8, we need to differentiate between the needs of others and our needs. And we also need to differentiate between groups and individuals. I will explain. Just know that. 9, we need to tap into our ability for text and phone support. And 10, we need to maintain some semblance of routine. Semblance. It just has to resemble the routine that we've had previously. It doesn't have to be every day. It doesn't have to be as long as we usually have it, but some semblance of routine. In this episode, I'm going to unpack 3 of these, just 3 of the 10. And before I talk anymore, I'm going to have some hot tea to help my voice. Here we go. I realize I could write an entire episode on every single one of these options, ways, what do I want to call them? Things we can do when life gets busy. And maybe I will do that in upcoming months. But for this episode, I want to focus on unpacking 3, namely the 7th, which is creating a before, during, and after care plan. The 8th thing, differentiating between the needs of others and our own. And kind of circling back to the 5th, which is getting help from medical professionals. So number 7, unpacking, creating a before, during, and after care plan. This is an opposition to our old behavior where codependummies are reactive to the needs of others. And we lack anticipation and forethought for ourselves. I'm curious what comes to mind for ways you have experienced that behavior in your life. Right? Just going through busy seasons, going through familial obligations, the traditions, meeting the expectations without anticipating. And I love this word, forethought, like thinking, thought of yourself beforehand on how that'll impact you, how it will feel to your nervous system, what the consequences, the ripple effect, the aftermath of maintaining the pattern of putting other people's needs above your own, what that'll do to you. So what is a before, during, and after care plan, right? What is a BDA? This is not something that I came up with, but it's an idea that formed after talking with my therapist in recent months about all this insanity, and also a mentor who I asked specifically, I'm entering a busy season. What has worked for you? What have you done in the past to, I keep saying the word navigate, but really I feel like that's what I did, is to navigate all the insanity that is the holidays and birthdays and COVID and everything that I dealt with. So thanks to meeting with them, I was provided answers and feedback that helped me devise this. Okay, I really need to sit down and think, what am I going to need before, during, and after this time, this event, this conversation, to offer myself exquisite care. 2 of my favorite authors, Susie Orbach, I believe, and Janine Roth, they both talk about exquisite care. You can write this out. You can create a note in your phone. You can lay it out mentally. You can talk it through with your therapist. And simply ask yourself, what do I need before, during, and after? For example, I was invited to a handful of holiday parties and gatherings, and these parties could have overwhelmed me for 3 reasons. First, they came in the middle of all the other commitments I had, right? The birthdays, the trips, the holidays with family, my health stuff. Okay. So that was a lot. 2, I feel self-conscious at these gatherings. I worry I'm not being a good guest. I worry I'm a boring conversationalist. I feel anxious. Maybe I should be more helpful and helping more. And 3rd, sometimes gatherings like these, which might be professional, they might be, networking or in a certain social group that I'm in, like a club, really. Sometimes I go to these and I leave very unsatisfied, as in, I experience a lot of greetings and saying hi to people. I experience superficial chatting when I'm yearning for more depth. I roll, but still, that's what I yearn for. And really, really keeping things light. And I leave feeling empty. I do. I'm hungry for connection, and I leave, or, we talk about feeling thirsty. I'm like thirsty, like this was not replenishing. So these parties, for many other reasons, but especially those 3 can really be overwhelming. And knowing that, I did my best to create a before, during, and after plan for most of the gatherings I attended. Sometimes I did go to something and I went and I came back and I was like, oh, well, I don't feel good. And I totally neglected to plan around this. But for the most part, I did. It's something I'm working on. And one experience in particular, I was invited to a Christmas gathering with colleagues of mine. So before, I discerned prior to going that it was best not to go and get a white elephant gift. I was already in the thick of the insanity that was my past 2.5 months. I had neglected, or maybe I was getting over COVID. Something happened where, I really wasn't able to go shopping earlier in the week. I didn't shop online. I procrastinated. And by the time the party was happening, maybe like the day prior, I knew how crazy the stores were going to be. And I would have wanted to play. I would have enjoyed the fun that is a white elephant party, but the day of the party, I discerned it was best for me to skip shopping and miss out on that part of the party. Which to me, being codependent is easier said than done, right? Now maybe I look like a party pooper. I look like I planned poorly. I'm like, I'm missing out on the fun, and maybe I'll disappoint all the other attendees who obviously prepared better for the white elephant than I had. And yet overall, it was better before the party to not go and get a white elephant gift. So I didn't. And then I think I could have dressed. I had some dressier, nicer Christmas dresses that are more form-fitting, so that's not as comfortable, or just nicer, so again, not as comfortable. And I decided to wear an ugly sweater since another attendee mentioned she'd be doing the same. And I was like, that actually sounds really comfortable and fun. So, no white elephant gift, Christmas sweater, really discerned, yeah, I definitely want to be more comfortable than dressy. And I got there pretty close to the start time. I have recognized this, that for me and my nervous system, I do like to show up on time or early to get settled while the party's starting. That's for me. Some people like to arrive later. Some people like to arrive way later. Yeah, it really depends. But for me, it was best. I probably got there like 10 to 15 minutes after it started. So that was my before plan that I did implement that day. During the party, BD, in order to check in with myself and stay grounded, I have started to use the bathroom as a space to breathe and center, right? I go to the bathroom, close the door, no one's in there, and I can actually go to the bathroom if I need to, or I can wash my hands. I can check myself out in the mirror, but just have a moment or two of calm while navigating all that a party means to me, being a self-conscious, codependent dummy. So yeah, I definitely strategized and used the bathroom. And I also set an intention for during the party to focus on something my mentor called me, or my mentor shared with me, and it's called story catching. I don't even know if that's it, but I'm pretty sure she said that, story catching, where you basically act like you're fishing, and it's a metaphor, but you pretend like you're fishing at these gatherings and you really try to catch stories. You really try to connect with one or two people more intimately by catching stories from them, asking questions. It's not up to you because it does need to be a reciprocating conversation, but really trying to connect more deeper with people. And so I was able to catch some not a whole story, but more information about someone's religious conversion. And then I also caught stories. Someone must have been, I don't know, maybe he's extroverted and outgoing, but then he shared about a recent vacation. And it was great. It was great. So yeah, it helped me make the evening more meaningful than superficial chatting. And last part of the during, my plan for during, is I was not planning to stay the entire evening. I wasn't. I think I had one glass of red wine, ate dinner, which was delicious, and I had planned to stay for a couple hours and leave. And when we visited, we'd eaten dinner, and then it was time for the white elephant game to start. And someone else actually left coincidentally at the same time. That was my perfect cue that was my cue. Like, oh, okay, that's my cue, everyone. It's time for me to leave. And that's what I did. So That was my before, that was during, and then after, I did plan that when I arrived home, I would warm up some hot tea, put on my pajamas, and watch an episode of my new favorite show. That was the plan. And I did that. So I'm driving home. Oh, I caught a couple stories, went to the bathroom, didn't play the white elephant, left earlier than the majority of the party, but I only want to stay a couple hours. Got there on time, enjoyed myself, and now I'm home. And I proceeded with my aftercare plan. So, and all the while navigating the insanity of my 2.5 months. Right. So just it was great. It was a great evening. I wanted to go. I'm glad I went. And I'm also grateful that I had this before, during, and after care plan to really take care of myself. So I'm curious, like, what thoughts come to mind for you and how you can also replicate that in your life. And okay, let me have some more hot tea and we'll get to the second thing to help us when life gets busy AF. We're going to talk about how to differentiate between our needs and the needs of others, and differentiate between groups and individuals. So let me just give you a little cliffhanger. All right, this action option is in opposition to how codependents tend to be enmeshed in the needs of others, especially when times are busy. And then we just take it and we deal with it and we put up with it, we tolerate, and we don't separate, or again, like, differentiate between the needs of others and the needs of our own, and the group as a whole, and individuals. It's just all wrapped up and enmeshed. So differentiation, it means different things, but in this context, I'm talking about differentiation as recognizing or ascertaining what makes someone or something different, right? The ability to recognize that. And with all the birthdays and holidays and trips and COVID and health stuff, I was with my family a lot, like all the time. My mom and dad, my older sister, my brother-in-law, my twin sister, my brother-in-law, me, my husband, my nephew. We also spent time with my brother-in-law's family. We also spent time with my husband's family. It was just a lot. It was just like all this family all the time, which is amazing and such a blessing, and also something to navigate. And early on, this is, I mean, not early on, maybe halfway through all this insanity, I was sharing this with my therapist and how it was difficult for me at times, especially when my parents were bickering to the left. My sisters have some tension on the right, and my alarm bells are starting to ring. And I shared, like, I want to be with them. I want to be around them. I have to be available to them. My sister's only in town for 3 weeks. It's the holidays. It's this tradition. We have this dinner. We're meeting with these family friends. And I actually emailed my therapist, which I think is also a good thing I did the past couple of weeks. So yeah, just like reaching out for support, like if and when needed. Even though I'm worried I'm a burden, I emailed her and I was like, ah. And one of her sentences was, I notice you are not differentiating between your family as a whole and individuals. And I was like, oh my God. And then I also realized that I'm getting better at recognizing my needs, but I wasn't differentiating between the needs of the group for us all to be together all the time and my need to have some alone time, some solitude, some one-on-one time with my twin sister, with my older sister, and then also some like one-on-two time, or like me and my sisters, just the kids. And I say kids as in me and my sisters and our partners, like without my parents, all just different combinations of the group. My assumption was, oh, well, my twin sister and her husband are visiting, so he just has to come along for everything, right? Oh, my older sister wants to try out a new restaurant, so we all have to go together, right? And wrong. That's wrong. Also, everything needs to be at my mom and dad's house. Wrong. That was wrong. I have a house. My older sister has a house. There are other spaces for us to gather in a good way at times, for variety, for easing the stress on my parents, for intimacy between siblings, for all those other things. And thanks to the feedback and insight from my therapist, I was able to intentionally make plans with my sisters, like went on a lunch date with my twin sister and her husband, who did come along, but he was welcome. We went for a hike. We went and got brunch. We did have a kids' dinner without my parents at my house, and my husband cooked like most of the meal, which was really nice. So yes, I want us all to be together a lot, but we inherently have that thanks to all the birthdays and the trips and the holidays. And it was nice to gossip with my sisters. It was fun to play cards with my brother-in-law and differentiate between the needs of others in my family, of the family as a whole, and like individuals. And something I definitely plan to do more of the next time we enter a busy season as family. Differentiate and come together. Differentiate and come together. The balance. All right, last and final topic we will be unpacking today, and things you can do as a codependent diamond when life gets busy AF. Get help from medical professionals. Excuse me. This is in opposition to our tendency as codependents to minimize our concerns and avoid burdening others. We are just specifically talking talking about health concerns as I unpack this. So it's really just getting help from any professional if and when needed. In the past, getting help from doctors has been hard for me. A couple examples. I remember rushing through an eye exam and getting glasses that I wasn't sure were 100% accurate for my eyes, for the prescription I needed, but I didn't want to take up any more of the doctor's time. I was like, she's like, can you read these? I'm like A, E, N, C, D. And she's like, okay. And then, I don't know if anyone has gotten an eye exam, but they kind of contrast, like, then they flip. Can you see more clearly this setting or this setting, right? 1 or 2. And you're like, 2? And they're like, 2 or 3. 3? And yeah, I felt there were a lot of people in the waiting room, and I couldn't. I could not sit and take up more time with her than I already had. So it's hard to ask for help. It's hard to take up that space. It's hard to be a burden, but it's my eyes. It's my eyes. Okay. There's a happy ending, but getting help from doctors as a codependent is hard for me as well, because I worry I'm being dramatic and will be perceived as such if I do go and ask about certain symptoms or concerns I'm having. And getting help is also difficult because I fear being a burden and adding more to their already overwhelming workload, which I talked about in the short anecdote. But in recent months, I went and got a physical, and I got back some results that were very concerning related to my cholesterol. Also, my periods, my cycles have been really off as a consequence to some changes I've been making. So I have been experiencing that during all of this insanity. And I was met with, internally and externally, some efforts to comfort myself and reassure myself that everything was okay, but also with undertones that I'm being dramatic, it's not a big deal, and I'm catastrophizing and over analyzing the symptoms, which as a codependent is hard to hold without making an effort to be the opposite, right? To then, oh, okay, these are no big deal. I will not ask for any follow-up appointment or feedback. I just need to take it easy and relax. So yeah, that's an option. And that's an option for when life gets busy, just to not take our health needs seriously so we can continue to be available to others. And that's an option when I'm worried I will come off as those negative things: dramatic, hyperbolic, I can't think of the word when you kind of catastrophize ailment or symptoms, hypochondriac, etc. But I think thanks to navigating this time and practicing all the other 9 things, right? Creating solitude, reaching out for help, attending my other appointments, maintaining a routine, trying to uphold healthy boundaries, I was able to overcome my fears and encourage myself that, Marissa, you're paying for health insurance and health coverage. It's okay to use that insurance and coverage. Marissa, it's okay to email your doctor questions. What a nice option. Email. It's okay to schedule a 15 or 20-minute phone or video appointment at your discretion. It's okay to email your doctor again to ask follow-up questions. It's okay to get a second opinion and ask another doctor what they think to gain more clarity, and you don't have to worry about hurting your doctor's feelings if you bring some of that information back to them. It's okay to schedule appointments that others think are unnecessary. And it's better to get individual care than to keep seeking help from Dr. Google. So I was able to encourage myself those truths, and that is what I've been doing. Despite being told to relax, that it's not a big deal, that I'm fine, that it's normal, I've made contact, scheduled appointments anyway. And I even had an eye exam during all this insanity. Coincidentally, I really hadn't gone to the optometrist in a while. And I took my time and I got improved prescription. And the doctor was really nice. And my eyes are actually doing really well. And I really sat there and I was like, I took my time. I did. And I even asked for a refund from a dermatologist whose service was really crappy. So look at me. Look at me. Everybody, look at me. Codependent dummy. Experiencing life that's busy AF, slowing the F down, and taking care of herself. I do realize that some individuals may be having my same symptoms and they could just go with the flow. I am in this gray area with some things, not urgent area. But I'm not a go with the flow person. I'm also not one to ask for help. So I've had to find this ability within myself to ask for help from my medical professionals and also not burden myself with the uncertainty of what these symptoms mean for me and my mind and my body and my ability to stay present. It's just better overall to alleviate my anxiety about the symptoms by seeking medical professional help. When life gets busy AF, and random health symptoms and concerns pop up, slow the fuck down and seek help where you can. That is where I'm at, and what's been very, I said empowering at the beginning. So there you have it. The unpacking of 3 of the 10 things codependummies can do when life gets busy AF. I wanted to use this episode to check in, to catch y'all up. It has really been a very busy and intense 2 months, and I made it without engaging in my negative coping skills, without meddling in the conflicts between my family members. I've made it without losing myself in expectations of others surrounding the holidays. It has not been perfect. I know it sounds overall pretty good, but I definitely, I got in an argument with my older sister. Sometimes my tone, I feel like I had an attitude with my mom, and I was like, Marissa, it's not necessary. I got pissed at my husband one evening, and I had other moments where I experienced my humanity. But overall, I feel better than I've felt in past busy seasons, and more encouraged for how to approach, I don't know. I think right now I'm kind of entering like a busy season with the health stuff. And then this summer is going to be kind of busy with some travel. Next winter, again, those birthdays aren't ever going to change and the holidays aren't going to move. So yeah, overall, I feel wiser and look forward to applying these learning lessons in, again, future busy seasons. So I'm curious what wisdom you've gleaned from the episode and what works for you in your busy seasons. And I came up with this metaphor. How can you attempt to not lose yourself in the current of all that busyness and instead ride the waves like a surfer and then come to the shore every once in a while for a break, for an appointment, for a call? So to review, when life gets busy AF, you slow the F down, and 1, create solitude, 2, maintain healthy boundaries, 3, reach out to others for support, 4, attend your appointments, 5, get help from whoever, from professionals, for me, medical professionals, 6, provide yourself more options in the middle, in the gray area, 7, mentally create a before, during, and after care plan, 8, differentiate between family and individuals, the needs of others and your own, 9, text and call support, and 10, maintain some semblance of routine. Thank you for being here. Like Jim Carrey says in The Truman Show, good morning. And in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Please remember to rate, review, subscribe, and share this episode with someone who needs it. We do need more ratings on Spotify, so I'd appreciate that if you'd give us a 5-star. And for some resources, freebies, and also products you can purchase, we have the Confiding Codependummy, 30 days of journaling prompts for a less codependent and more conscious you. That's at codependummy.com/tools for healing. We have the free self-validation challenge, a 30-day guide to providing yourself with all the validation you seek. If you're wanting to dive deeper into your codependency one-on-one, please email me, Marissa, at codependummy.com. You can sign up for our newsletter. There's a link in the show notes. And you can also support the show via a one-time secure donation on PayPal. And there's also a link for that in the show notes. So thank you for being here. It's good to be back, and I will see you all next week. Take good care. Hey girl, it's Marissa again. I'm not like a regular podcaster, I'm a cool podcaster, right? Thank you for listening and staying till the end. You can find me on Instagram at Therapy with Marissa. Email me, marissa@codependummy.com. Check out codependummy.com for more information on the show. And baby girl, a subscribe, rating, and review would be much appreciated. Till next time, I want you to remember, if you are feeling unseen, I see you. If you are feeling unheard, I hear you. And if you think that you don't matter, know that you matter to me. I want you to go out there so you can stop playing small and start taking up space, you dummy. And now, the disclaimer. Girl, this is not therapy and I am not your therapist. This podcast is designed to provide accurate and authoritative information in regards to the subject matter covered. It is given with the understanding that neither the host, publisher, or guests are rendering any legal, clinical, or other professional service. If you want or need a professional, please